All right, Chip Brown is with us now. We always love talking to Chip. Anytime Chip can come on, but especially when we're talking Texas and the SEC. That's a big deal. Chip is with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. What is up, Chip? How are you today?
What's happening, fellas?
Not much, man. Not much. Things in the Lone Star State good?
Oh, yeah. You calling to talk some Texas-Alabama baseball?
Yeah, number one, Texas hosting Alabama, 3-game series today. How about that?
How about that? It's going to be like 32 degrees.
Fantastic. And I haven't brought it up yet on the show. You'll remember this, Chip. Last time they played each other, 1983 College World Series.
Dave Magadan?
Roger Clemens facing the great Dave Magadan.
How about that?
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
That's a name everybody remembers.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
hey, before we get into Texas, we were talking about Art Briles, and he's been named the OC at Grambling State. And look, you covered Art for a while, and I said, look, if the guy doesn't get in all this trouble, if it doesn't go off the rails, I think he's probably has Baylor in a college football playoff by now. Say what you want. The guy was a heck of a coach at Baylor. The guy knows football.
Yeah, he knows football, and there were people at Baylor who should have gone to jail over what happened there, leaving their Title IX, office to patrol the violence against women on that campus, who were not named Art Briles. That was not his decision. That was the executive vice president, Reagan Ramsauer's decision. That guy, they were trying to get Ken Starr out as the president at Baylor, and they were doing it with some of the worst thinking you can imagine. Leaving the Title IX office unstaffed while girls are being sexually assaulted on that campus. It's ridiculous. Now, there was a kid named Tevin Elliott who played at Baylor who was a serial rapist. That's where Art Briles' culpability comes in. They knew that kid was trouble. They knew he was trouble even once he got on campus. But to say that Art Briles was the only guy at Baylor who was, letting everything go, it was a culture at that time at Baylor that was horrible. Art is an unbelievable offensive coach. And, Jeff Lebby is a guy who was with Art at Baylor. Jeff and, his son, Kendall Briles have gone on to get jobs. Now, Art signed a non-disclosure agreement to get $20 million from Baylor. That's why he doesn't talk about it. So it's kind of a mixed bag for Art Briles. But, at one time he was seen as an innovative offensive pioneer in the state of Texas.
Chip Brown is with us. You can follow Chip on Twitter at ChipBrown247, at ChipBrown247, as he covers Texas there for Horns247.com with 24/7 Sports. He is with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. You write yesterday you're getting some intel on what this timeline might look like for Texas. Listen, I've talked to guys that are quote-unquote sources. I've heard everything from almost immediately to it could be 3 or 4 years. What is the feeling in Austin about when this might happen?
Well, it looks like it's going to happen in 2024, for the 2024 football season when ESPN takes over the broadcast rights for SEC football. And I think Texas has the financial flexibility to get out of the Big 12. It's probably going to cost $80 million. I mean, it's, and people are like, wait a minute, A&M and Missouri got out of the Big 12 at a discounted rate. But that's in part because they weren't seen as valuable as Texas and OU. As crazy as that sounds, they weren't seen as valuable to the conference as Texas and Oklahoma. Now, the interesting thing is, I think there was some thought that, well, if Texas and OU wait until the broadcast rights expire for the Big 12 in 2025, that they wouldn't have to pay any exit fees. That is not correct. They agreed in 2012 to a 99-year grant of rights.
Yikes.
And that means that Texas and Oklahoma have to pay whether they leave before 2025 or after 2025. And Oklahoma is not, I'm told, is not as financially equipped to handle the buyout exit fees as Texas is. Now, of course, Texas has, the Longhorn Network. ESPN still owes them right now, still owes Texas $184.5 million on that 20-year, $300 million deal. So Texas can, probably negotiate its way out of, into ESPN covering their exit fees. But Oklahoma is not as liquid, and Texas and Oklahoma are going to go to the SEC together. And right now it looks like the earliest is 2024.
Hey, when you look at year 2 for Steve Sarkisian, it's hard to believe 1 10-win season, and you know this well, for Texas in the last 12 years. Alabama, by the way, every one of those years, double-digit wins. How important is year 2 for Sarkisian?
Well, he's got to show progress. That's what I've been saying about Texas football since they played Alabama in that 2009 national championship game. You just want to see the arrow going up, just like that. Not 4-1 to start the season last year, and then the longest losing streak in the program since 1956. And you had double-digit leads on the 3 best teams in the conference, against Baylor, Oklahoma State, and OU. You lose all those games. Then it turns into a rebuild. Then it turns into, I don't have my players. So, the narrative got a little, messed around, but it's true that Sarkisian's got to get guys in who are used to winning. And that's, anytime you're turning around a losing culture or a middle of the pack culture, you got to find guys who bring in that hunger to win championships. And that's what it appears that Steve Sarkisian did in having maybe the best offseason I've ever seen for a 5-7 team, with a top 5 recruiting class loaded on the offensive and defensive lines. Quinn Ewers, the transfer 5-star quarterback from Ohio State. You bring in Gary Patterson, you land 2 really talented assistant coaches, and Brennan Marion, the new receivers coach, or big time recruiter, Tashard Choice, coming in as the running backs coach. So, and I think they're interested in hiring David Cutcliffe if he'd come as an analyst. So,
Arch Manning. Excuse me, I'm sorry.
I'll tell you what, yeah, there you go. Hey, what do you say? Do you say former Duke coach David Cutcliffe, or do you say Manning family mentor?
Yeah, I think
that's it.
I think we know what Sark is saying, Chip. Yes.
That works out good. Chip, can I ask you this about the Texas move? To go back to that for a second. Have you got any feeling at all there's been a willingness from the current SEC membership or the league office to loan money or to front money for Oklahoma or for Texas? Any of that going on behind the scenes?
Well, that's the next question. And, I don't know the answer to that right now. And so, there was obviously some mixed feelings, certainly from Texas A&M. They had to bite the bullet and vote along with everyone else to admit Texas and OU. I'm not sure where the sentiment would be for the SEC to help OU out.
Is there a chance? This seems like a dumb question as I ask it. They come together, right? If there's a situation where OU says we can't cough up the $80 million, Texas has it. They got to come together, don't they? Is there a chance they come separately?
No, they will come together. That's everything that I'm hearing. And the ESPN has an incentive for Texas and Oklahoma to be in the SEC when they take over the broadcast rights to SEC football in the 2024 season. I'll be shocked if ESPN doesn't make something happen for this all to be nice and tidy for Texas and OU to be in the SEC for that 2024 football season.
Chip has mentioned that Texas and Alabama play baseball today in freezing temperatures. I just saw the Vegas point spread, Lance. Texas is minus 520 in today's game.
Yeah.
That Friday starter must be something for the Longhorns.
Yeah, who is your starter?
Guys.
I've never even seen that with Clayton Kershaw against an expansion team.
Minus 520.
In his heyday.
Yeah, this kid, he's a lefty. His name is Pete Hansen. And David Pierce, the coach at Texas, compares him to a young Andy Pettit, who is also from Texas and played at San Jacinto College. David Pierce remembers Andy Pettit coming out of high school and college, and that's all you need to know about Pete Hansen.
Well, that kid must be able to deal it. All right, go follow Chip on Twitter at ChipBrown247. Read him online, horns247.com, part of 24/7 Sports. Always fun, Chip. Thank you for the time. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, man.
Hey, how many days to that, September 10th? Till the Crimson Tide come to Austin?
Well, let's see. It's 182 to week 0, so help me with the math. Add 14 more days, right?
195?
196.
196, yeah. We'll be there.
Y'all bringing the show?
We're planning on it, yeah.
Of course.
We're
You'll
planning
take
on
us to dinner, right?
Yeah, you're tour guide though, okay, Chip?
Yeah.
I got you.
Yep.
I got you.
We may need to borrow your Wi-Fi, though. Is that okay?
Whatever you need.
All right. Oh, write that down, Rockstar.
Whatever you need. Chip's
Whatever you
in for
need.
whatever we need.
Yes.
Tell the business office. Chip's in for whatever we need. Thank you, Chip. Have a great weekend.
All right, boys. Stay safe. Keep the faith.
You too, buddy. Take care. Chip with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline.
Chip's like a superhero. Stay safe and keep the faith.
I like it. Right.
God bless you.
God bless America.